Hey friends, Sean from Draft Therapy here, and on today's review for you is the West Coast really the best coast? West Coast Hemp IPA is a 6.6% IPA from Eastern Market Brewing Company in Detroit, Michigan. Eastern Market Brewing and Ferndale Project have both been cranking out some great beer lately, and thankfully a lot of it. So of course that means, what does that mean? That means more for us to enjoy. Today I'm looking at their West Coast Hemp IPA, which you can probably tell from that name. It's going to be an IPA in the West Coast style, I'm just guessing. So let's take a look at the label. We'll get it into a glass, but first I'd like to thank my executive producers Eric Latowski, Brian Kramer, and Zach for helping to bring this review to you today. If you'd like to become a producer, help out the channel, or maybe just buy me a beer, take a look at my Patreon at patreon.com/draft_therapy, where you can get early access to these videos, exclusive members-only live streams, and a few other special perks available only to patrons. So we'll take a look at this label. Very obviously green and yellow. It has something to do with West Coast hemp. It's a West Coast Hemp IPA, as it says on the front. It has this green and yellow swirl. Underneath that, it says Eastern Market Brewing Company, trademark, brewed and canned in collaboration with Ferndale Project in Ferndale, Michigan. If we turn it to the back spine, it says it's 1 pint. It has a government warning on the left side. On the right side, it says style, West Coast style India Pale Ale, alcohol by volume 6.6%, hops, Columbus, Chinook, Nugget, malts, Golden Promise, Caramel Rye, and Carafoam, and then adjuncts, toasted hemp seeds, and then crafted for all with a bunch of mash paddles around it. And it has 420 underneath that in a diamond, alluding to something, I'm not really sure what. And this was canned on 4/15/2021. That's April 15th. This is April 17th. It got canned, brought directly out to shelves, store shelves, and I picked it up actually today. And I'm going to use an IPA glass for this one. We're going to go ahead and crack it though and put a nose on the can. Of course, since the canned on date is on this label, it's not on the bottom. So just had to reiterate that for myself. Let's crack this and put a nose on it. Oh boy, smells very, there's a nice citrus kind of hoppy aroma. There is no, ooh, almost smells a little dank, if you know what I'm saying. Actually, it smells a lot dank on second sniff, and it smells like an IPA. Smells like an IPA. So let's go ahead and pour this. It's actually coming out pretty dark out of the can. It's a dark golden yellow, and pouring it in the glass there, letting it just kind of go right down the center. It has a really dark copper color to it. I was expecting this to be a darker IPA, but not quite this dark. As you can see, I've got about 3 fingers worth of head. I can smell that that funkiness, that really deep, just resinous quality to it. It has a bit of a citrusy smell to it, but it also has a very piney, resinous, just kind of, I don't want to say skunky, but I'm alluding to something, and I think that you might know what I'm talking about. But the head itself is a little off-white. It's a little bit tinging towards yellow. Really nice compact bubbles. It's just sitting on there like a block of foam just sitting on that glass. If we hold it up to the light there, you can see there is a bit of haze to it, but it is dark copper down to a lighter copper. You might not be able to tell, but I can tell because the light is just shining directly through that. The head is hanging on like a champ. I mean, it's not budged. It doesn't look like it's budged one bit, and there's a nice stream of carbonation coming up from the bottom. Now to put a nose on the glass. Has that sticky, icky kind of smell to it. It does have a bit of a sweet aroma to it underneath that's kind of coming up through all that, sticky ickiness. And it does have a nice resinous kind of note to it. It just has a hemp type aroma. So let's go ahead and try it out. Cheers. All right, for the mouthfeel. Whoa. Mouthfeel. It's a little bit on the medium side, actually. It's for a 6.6% IPA. It has a bit of almost a medium mouthfeel. It's on the aftertaste. It gets to be pretty dry. It dries out pretty quick. This flavor is like, I've recently reviewed the Waldos. I recently reviewed 90 Minute IPA, and those are both They have a bit of a bitter quality to them, if you know what I'm saying, because they are those, the Waldo's more so. I think 90 Minute was a bit more malty, and the Waldo's was a little bit more piney resinous. This is like just magnitudes of depth, almost more IPA than the Waldo's was to me, and that's a higher ABV. I believe that was like, I want to say that was like 11% or so. This one doesn't taste boozy, but it's definitely has that really piney, resinous, sticky kind of mouthfeel and just resinous kind of hoppy bitterness. This is like almost, you know, puckeringly bitter, but not overly bitter. Like it tastes like a really just strong, piney, resinous IPA. So it definitely, you know, they're going for a West Coast hemp style IPA. They definitely nail that West Coast IPA. They definitely nail, you know, the other connotations that hemp kind of brings on, you know, if you know what I'm saying. But it is not that I have any not that there's anything wrong with that, but it's definitely in that West Coast vein. If you have been looking for a really good local West Coast style IPA, I really personally enjoy Train Hopper from Witch's Hat. They're hitting that West Coast tip on Train Hopper. This though has to be one of probably the strongest West Coast style IPAs that I've had in a local Michigan beer in a very, very, very long time. Oh man. You know, sometimes when you drink these beers after taking that first, I notice after I take the first drink or the first sip, my palate, after a couple drinks, it starts to become acclimated to that bitterness, to that pininess, to that West Coast style, especially if it's an IPA, you know, I mean, I'm talking about IPAs here. But your tongue and your palate starts to get used to all that flavor, and then subsequent drinks, it starts to get a little bit more muted, it starts to become a little bit more subdued, and it's not so strong. And every drink on this one has been very has been like the same in your face, piney, resinous, you know, hoppy bitterness. And each sip, you know, there's a little bit of a sweet malty backbone in there, really deep down in there, because that bitterness, it kind of comes in the beginning, that piney bitterness comes in the beginning. You get the maltiness, a little slight maltiness, and then it just boosts up and amplifies in the back end with a lot more of that piney resinous quality. So again, as I was saying, if you're looking for, you know, if you've been looking for a really nice local West Coast style IPA, I think this is probably the West Coastiest style IPA locally that I've had. And I don't even remember how long, because, you know, if you are someone who the New England style IPAs have got too sweet, or they've gotten too, you know, you're getting too much like of a hop burn kind of character. I know you can get kind of, people have been getting burnt out on New England style IPAs, not only literally, figuratively, but literally, with that, you know, that all the hoppy combinations in there, and you start to get that burn in your throat, and you're looking for just like old school West Coast style IPA, you know, things like that you remember from, again, from the West Coast, something reminiscent of a Stone or something like a Sierra Nevada, like that kind of style. This beer, West Coast Hemp IPA from Eastern Market Brewing Company, nails that style perfectly. I'm going to take another drink because of it. But if you're a West Coast style IPA lover, this one is one that you cannot miss. And it is a perfect release for 420. All right, friends, that has been West Coast Hemp IPA from Eastern Market Brewing Company in Detroit. Have you had this beer? Do you have a favorite West Coast IPA that I haven't talked about yet? Let me know in the comments down below while you're down there. If you like beer, you might want to subscribe and click that bell, because I'm here talking about beer twice a week, 2 times a week on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And you never know, you might miss your newest favorite if you're not subscribing and getting those notifications on new videos. So until next time, I'm Sean from Draft Therapy. Thanks for stopping by. Remember, drink craft beer, support your local breweries, and most importantly, don't forget to treat yourself to a little draft therapy. Thanks for watching, everybody. Cheers.